Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into this really beautiful piece of writing that asks a pretty profound question. What if Santa Claus wasn't some myth up at the North Pole, but was actually a quiet presence walking among us? This is a story about finding magic not in a sleigh, but in the people we pass every single day. So, right off the bat, the story opens with Santa's own voice, and it immediately flips everything we think we know on its head. This isn't about the North Pole or some single magical night. Nope, it's about these quiet, everyday moments where kindness is just hiding in plain sight. He's not a myth, he's a presence. And this gets right to the heart of it all. The source argues that Santa's real gifts, the important ones, aren't the things you find under the tree. They're these small, deeply human miracles, a moment of safety, a little boost of courage, or just that profound feeling of being truly seen when you feel totally invisible. Okay, so let's see how this actually works. Our first story takes us to a foggy evening in London. And here, Santa isn't in some big red suit. He's disguised as a polite, older gentleman just patiently waiting at a crosswalk. He sees Dr. Maya Patel. And the slide really captures her in this moment of quiet crisis. She's completely lost in her own grief and exhaustion, so much so that she walks directly into danger, totally unaware of anything around her. So after he gently stops her from stepping out in front of a car, he doesn't just give her a warning. He hands her a card with this exact message on it. And it's more than just words, right? It's a gift of self-forgiveness. It's the perfect antidote to the heavy weight she's carrying. He sees her pain and he gives her permission to just be human. So, what was the real gift? The source makes it crystal clear it wasn't just about saving her from an accident. It was that perfectly timed moment of perspective that spoke directly to her soul, reminding her that her worth isn't defined by her failures. And this theme of perspective? It just keeps rolling in our next story. We're in Berlin now, where Santa takes on this humble disguise of a cleaner on the S-Bahn. You know, the city's train system. He's an almost invisible figure in a place packed with people, all trying to be invisible themselves. And on this train, he sees Mara Vogel. Her whole world has just imploded. She's a startup founder who just got that email, the one saying the funding is gone. And in her mind, this isn't just a setback. It feels like a final verdict on her entire identity. She feels like a complete failure. He doesn't say a single word to her. Instead, he just leaves a handwritten story on her seat. And this story, it reframes her failure not as some tragic ending, but as a release, a chance to find a truer path. This quote from the story gives her a glimpse of a future perspective, right there in her darkest moment. So again, what was the true gift? Well, it wasn't just the piece of paper it was written on. It was a whole new narrative. It was the power of a story to change her reality, offering her hope and a different way forward when she thought every single door had just slammed shut. Our final story takes us all the way to Shinjuku Station in Tokyo, literally the busiest train station in the world. And amidst millions of people rushing around, Santa is a clerk at the Lost and Found, this tiny little pocket of stillness in a sea of motion. This is where we meet Kenji, a salaryman who is just completely on autopilot. You know the feeling. His life has become this endless series of identical, grinding days. He comes to the counter because he lost his transit card, but it is so clear he has lost way, way more than that. When Kenji just admits it, he says he's lost his joy, his excitement for life. Santa doesn't offer him sympathy. He offers this incredibly profound insight. He pinpoints the exact moment so many of us lose ourselves, when we start prioritizing what's useful over what's just plain fun. So what was the gift this time? It wasn't getting his train card back. It was the permission to go rediscover a part of himself he thought was gone for good. It was a map, pointing the way back to his own forgotten joy. Okay, so if we look back at these stories, the source reveals this really clear, repeatable pattern. It's almost like a formula for this everyday kind of magic. It starts with an ordinary disguise, it finds a person in quiet pain, it involves a perfectly timed act, and it delivers a gift of perspective. And this, right here, brings us to the most important point of the entire piece. Because after showing us how Santa operates, the story turns the mirror right back on us. This slide just lays it all out so perfectly, doesn't it? It contrasts the myth with a much more powerful, more accessible truth. The magic isn't in some far-off workshop. It's right here, in a kind word, on a city street, and it's available to us every single day. And here it is. This is the big reveal, the real heart of the message. Santa suggests that we are also in disguise, that we're hiding our own ability to be kind behind all the excuses of modern life. We're too busy, we're too full of self-doubt, maybe just too afraid. The magic doesn't just end when Santa leaves the scene, it spreads. His word continues through our small acts of really seeing other people, of offering a new story, of giving someone the little bit of perspective they desperately need. We become the agents of that magic. And so, this leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It's a challenge, really. A challenge to look past our own disguises of being too busy or too insignificant, and to ask ourselves, what small, quiet miracle might we be able to offer someone today?